Welcome to Ask Pastor Craig. And today's question is, as a newly married couple, can you help us to determine how to best spend or think through the holiday season and where we should spend our time and how we should allot it between in-laws? That's a difficult question, and it's one a lot of newly married couples and sometimes older couples deal with. How do we spend our time? Because we both had a family of origin that had their own traditions, their own holidays, and now we're getting married. And we're starting a new family, and how do we allot that time up? The first piece of wisdom I would give you is to think of your new marriage as a new family. Now, this is biblical in nature, and even though people say, hey, we're just getting a whole new family, the Bible says that when a man and woman get married, that they leave their father and mother, they cleave, and they become united in one flesh. So as you are a new married couple, you are a family. And what that means is you get to choose what do you want to be true about your family unit. No longer do you have to say, well, my family always spends Thanksgiving doing this. The proper, maybe more biblical way of looking at it would be saying my family of origin did this on Thanksgiving, on Christmas, on 4th of July, on President's Day, whatever. But what do we want our new family unit? What do we want to do on Thanksgiving? What do we want to be true about our family on those days? Far too often, we just kind of go along with maybe long-standing extended family or family of origin traditions, when in reality, we should be sitting down, husband and wife, and saying, what do we want to be true about our family? And then the second piece of advice is just know that this is going to change throughout the years. When you get married, if you don't have children, you're far maybe more likely to be like, yeah, we're going to start in Columbus and end in Toledo, or we're going to start in Michigan, and then 2 days later we'll be in Tennessee, and we're just going to drive ragged and see everyone, and praise God, it doesn't matter. We're young, we're in love, we'll sleep on the couch, we'll sleep on an air mattress, whatever. But 5, 6, 10 years down the road, when you have your own kids and you're starting to realize, wow, travel is a lot more difficult, this is a lot more challenging, and I don't feel like doing this, traditions change. So hold them with an open hand. I would say take it on a year-by-year basis. This is what we're able to do this year, and then communicate clearly with those you love. This is where the challenge actually comes in. You've decided, what do we want to be true for our family? How do we want to celebrate the holiday season? Okay, what are our boundaries? What are our expectations? What is our budget? How much can we travel? This is the season of life we're in for this year. This is what maybe our kids can handle, whatever. Now it's time to communicate those things. Communicate clearly and communicate with love, but you need to be clear, this is what my family is doing. This is where I know a lot of hurt and pain and hurt feelings and misunderstanding can come in, because sometimes we're scared to have a conversation with, let's be honest, most of the time mom, because mom has a lot of expectations of what the holidays will be like, and our family of origin has always done this, and people don't want to let down their mom and all this stuff. And then you've got competing moms, because each one of you maybe has a mom, but then your siblings are maybe married, and then there's mothers-in-laws, and you have a lot of other families competing for time. And it's just not the same as when you were a kid. Life changes. So communicating clearly, communicating with love. Hey, this year, we're available on this date to celebrate Thanksgiving. I know it's not that day, but we would like to see you. So even if we eat pizza, could we come see you for the holiday? Hey, this year on Christmas Day, we're available from 9 a.m. to 2, but then we need to go over to this side of the family. Could we see you at that time? If this is met with, no, you can't do that, and we're going to do this, and you're not a part of that, then you have a choice to make in that moment, and this is where it gets tough. You can say, well, I'm sorry to hear that. That's our availability, and that's what we're going to do. Or you can do what most couples do and then just have an inward fight in their marriage. Hey, mom says it doesn't work when we do this, so you need to call your mom and try and move that time around, and then they're fighting and this kind of thing. That is why it is so important for you and your spouse to be on the same page. This is what we're going to do. Our family of origins may be doing this. This is what we are doing. We are communicating it clearly. Now, other people get the decision. They can say, hey, that doesn't work for me. I'm sorry. And then you can say, hopefully we get to see you next year. That is a really, really challenging thing, but it is the only thing that will make you not be crazy around the holidays. If you try and meet everyone else's expectations, you might make them happy and you may destroy your marriage in the meantime. You may drag your children all over Kingdom Come, and they may end up hating Christmas because Christmas meant we spent 8 hours in the car rather than playing with my toys and doing these things. You might fulfill everyone else's idea of an ideal holiday, but you and your spouse may never make those memories that you want to on your own. So establish who you are as a family, what you want to do. Recognize that it changes in different seasons. So just because you did something, for the past 5 years doesn't mean you need to do it. So I would say ongoing regular communication is very important. And then clear communication with those extended family units. Hey, this is what my family is able to do, and let's try and be adults about it. Now let me give a word, if you've made it this far, to maybe the older folks on this. You now have grown children who are married. Just know that this is one of the biggest stresses I've talked with couples about. We talk about it in premarital counseling. I've talked with them about it in counseling, and how they feel like their mom is getting let down at Christmas, and then she's guilting them. Well, maybe you could save some time for me around this day. I've actually had someone come in. Well, mom just said, maybe you'll make it to my funeral since you can't seem to make it anywhere else. I just want to challenge you in the most loving way I can over video to say that the way to get your children to want to be a part of your activities is actually not through guilt. It's just not. It's immature, and it's not an act of love. If you love your kids and they communicate clearly with you, hey, the Johnsons aren't able to make it this year to this, and this is when we would like to do that. An act of love is actually this. Boy, I'm super disappointed. I was looking forward to seeing you. Would you be able to meet on this day, or this day, that we could maybe try it this way, or this way? Because I'd still love to see you. Or, hey, would we be welcome to come to your place on this time, or this time to celebrate so that I could see the grandkids in this way, or this way? It might not be the same way that you always used to do it. Traditions change throughout the years, and you need to let some of those things go, because the more you hold them on, the more you will choke out the life and the joy of those participating in it. I'm not saying you have to be happy about it. You can express that. Boy, that's super disappointing. We were looking forward to seeing you at this time. But you can also say it's not about the day it's celebrated on. It's about the people we celebrate with. So are we able to maybe, instead of just celebrating it this day, could we look at a different day on the calendar? Are we able to make our calendars match? And when you meet your family with grace, with mercy, with love, with saying, hey, we just want you in our home. We just want to celebrate. I don't care if it's December 25th or December 15th or January 3rd. I just want to see you, see your kids. I want to celebrate with you. I want to raise a glass to the new year. I want to smoke meat and eat a big meal. And I just want to laugh and spend time with one another. When can we make that happen? How can we make that happen? And what can that look like? There will be an opportunity, and you will find that people will often want to meet you in that. So if you're on the other side of this conversation and your younger children or your grown children are now kind of pushing back and you feel like, man, my family traditions, I don't get to see my kids as much as I want to, know that when you respond with grace, with mercy, with creativity, with thinking outside the box, they're going to want to meet you in that. When you respond with shame, with guilt, with anger, with frustration, with trying to split the family unit, I can't believe you let your wife tell you this, you don't even love your mother anymore. Yikes. Don't do that. Especially don't do that if you call yourself a Christian. Well, Craig, it hurts and I didn't get to see them the way. I hear you. Do you think you're going to attract more of them with anger, bitterness, and shame? Or with love, grace, understanding? Hey, I remember when I got married. It's hard to figure out where you're going to go. We don't need it to be on the day of. We just want to see you. I can make a turkey anytime. How can we celebrate Thanksgiving together? Is there a way we can do that this year? Maybe they say no. And you're like, well, I've tried all that. The point is thinking outside the box. And anytime you meet a conversation with grace and mercy and understanding, you're going to do better in the Lord. So that's kind of a two-pronged approach. The young couple that asks the question, how do we think through this? Think through seasons of life. They change. Think through what you want to be true about your family, and then clear communication to those parties. And then on the other side, how do you meet that clear communication? Do you meet it with shame, anger, bitterness, trying to divide the married couple? Or do you meet it with grace and mercy and saying, hey, I love you. I just want to see you. I would love for it to work out this way. If it won't work out that way, I'm not going to lie to you. I'm going to be disappointed. I'm going to be sad because I long to see this family together in that way. But hey, I'll take you when I can get you because I love you and I just want to spend time with you. Something we all got coming up, something we all have to think through, something we all have to work through. Family, am I right? I hope this helps.